Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Ruthless. We're on season 4, episode 17, entitled Crossing the Line. So let's just jump right into it. River has gotten caught hiding in the kitchen trailer by Elder Mother. And she's worried that he may have been watching her. Well, she was like, have you been in here watching me all this time? Are you here? Basically like trying to see if he has a crush on her, like what is he doing there? What is going on? And now she thinks that River, wants her body or whatever, and he pays her some fake compliments or whatever, and she accuses him of being there to steal. Like she ain't really buying the compliments. And then he is desperate, and desperate times have called for desperate measures. He grabs a handful of her boobs, right? And the other mother's so taken aback that she almost has a heart attack. But then she was like, all right, let me go ahead and test him, right? So she grabs his male member, and she was like, it ain't even hard, right? So you putting on like you ain't here for me, what you really here for, giving that type of energy. And so she was like, since you here for me, since you got a crush on me, you love me, you can't live without me, whatever you trying to tell me, get on your knees and let me see how you perform, right? I'm about to lose my lunch. And tells him to prove that he wants her. And she knew from the jump that that boy was not there for her. Either way, she's not amused at his work ethic, for lack of a better term. She ain't amused. She tells him, listen, your performance record is whack. Pick up what I'm putting down now. And this fool is so appalled at the fact that he has had to go down on Elder Mother that he's crying. Like, he got tears coming out his face, and she was like, what are you crying for? And now she's trying to figure out like why he's really there. And then she thinks like maybe Ruth put him up to it, trying to set him up or whatever, trying to get her in trouble with the highest. And so she claims she's gonna tell the highest, but I doubt that she's gonna tell him this, because you're going to have to tell him what you made River do, just trying to get your rocks off. And I doubt that that's what you want to do right now. Either way. Moving on, Ruth goes to Bridget because Bridget saw Lewis hunching another girl in a trailer, right? And so she got an attitude, and now she wants to blow the whole mission because she's in her feelings. And so Ruth goes to her, and she was like, listen. And Bridget's like, go ahead, girl, get out my face. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm about to blow the cover. And Ruth has to like try to take drastic measures to get her to calm down. So she slaps her across the face. And she's like, I'm too mad at Lewis. I'm mad at you because you was sitting in the car with him. You was talking to him like what y'all, really what y'all got going on. And then she claims that she's going to tell the highest everything about the plan when he gets back, whoop-de-whoop. And Ruth laughs at the fact that Bridget thinks that the highest is even going to attempt to believe her over his soon-to-be wife, which is Ruth. And then she threatened, she was like, well, I'll tell Daikon. I guess, Bridget knows that Daikon has this disdain for Ruth, so maybe she can leverage that. And then she was like, well, she's trying to rub it in Ruth's face, like, oh, I'm going to tell them, and you going to the punishment trailer. She was like, well, have you ever been to the punishment trailer? Do you know what goes down in there? And Bridget was like, nope, I don't know, and it's not my business because I'm never going to the punishment trailer. And so Ruth commits us to physically kicking off in her ass while we standing outside this trailer or whatever. And now Lucy's got to come over there and break up the little, it's really not a fight, it's the beating, because she is definitely stumping the mud hole in Bridget's ass, right? And so now, first of all, Bridget, you about to go try to blow the whole plane. You ain't even took a lick. Like, Ruth slapped you, then she punched you a couple times, she kicked you a couple times, and you are in full submission talking about, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Like, you have surrendered just that fast. But Ruth ain't done with you quite yet. So Ruth drags her off to the punishment trailer, handcuffs her hands above her head, and commences to whipping her on the back. I mean, repeatedly for like what seems like an eternity, right? And Ruth tells her that this whole plan thing that she thinks she knows about is a lie, and she, better keep her mouth closed, like definitely, whipping her into submission. So that's where we're at with Bridget. All right, so the high C, they're in the back of the van, headed back to the compound after Daikon has confronted Joan with the information about the missing $1 million, right? And so she's crying, and he asks her, like, girl, what's wrong with you? Like, what's the problem? And, she doesn't really tell him the truth. She claims that I'm so sad because I just want to make sure that I'm being a good servant to the, to the Raku and to you, the highest, and blah, 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 blah. And Daikon is just sitting there, like, rolling his eyes, not even buying it to the first or the last. And I just want to see how she's going to talk her way out of this, because while you are second in command, only to Ruth, I don't know if she's going to be able to, like, once the DICON goes, once we get back to the compound and y'all are not, in the same square footage, he's probably going to go look it up, and, maybe you've done your due diligence where it won't come back on you. But girl, it's going to be hard trying to figure out, trying to get DICON off your trail, unfortunately. But this is where we at, because you think you're smarter than everybody, so whatever. Lacey and Zane are talking, and Zane tells Lacey, like, listen, Manny will not talk to me. He's not buying, he's not picking up what I'm putting down. He hasn't taken the bait just yet. And Lacey's like, well, dang, girl, like, how bad did you cut him? She was like, really bad. So we're going to have to figure out something else. And Lacey asked her, like, hey, is there any other men that you can go to? And, maybe Lewis will do it. But Zane is like, no, because, Manny is his homeboy. Remember, we got Lewis, Manny, and the other dude. I can't never remember his name. They're in the little trio. They got their own plan with, which includes Bridget and Ruth or whatever. And so, no, that's too close to home. And so Lacey's like, yeah, you're right. So we got to think of something. We need to come up with something, and quick. And then Laura shows up with this stupid smile on her face, like she's still high, even though we know that she's not. And she tells them, like, Aaron got away. Now that, they want to buy their time, they think that it's just a matter of time that he's going to come with the cavalry or come break them out, or whatever it is that they believe Aaron can do now that he was able to escape the guard. All right, so Laura is sitting here talking, and again, she's got this renewed sense of hope, that things are going to change. And then she tells the girls, like, Aaron's dad is a senator, so I know he's going to call his dad immediately. And, they're going to come, they're going to get everybody out of the situation. We just need to hold off. We need to, hold on to that fact. And Zane tells him, like, maybe, but I hope he didn't go to the sheriff, because he is corrupt. And so, everybody kind of lost their countenance for a minute. But, everybody's just holding on to hope. Laura is telling us on the fact, like, I know my husband, he's going to call his senator dad first, and before going to the sheriff, and then we're gonna be off scot-free. We didn't get to see Aaron this episode, so hopefully he made it downriver and is able to get some actual help. Or instead of trying to go back to the compound, you need to go straight to your daddy, because he can pull out the big guns. But we'll see how that goes. Again, we didn't see him this week. Everybody's excited except for Zane. Zane is still kind of skeptical, because she knows, like, the sheriff is in on it. Don't know if she knows about Mac, but the reach outside of the compound is a little bit far, and so she don't know if this is the brightest plan, but it's the only plan that they have right now. All right, so we're gonna go back to Ruth and Bridget. Once the whooping is over, Ruth gives Bridget her final warning, like, girl, you better open your mouth, you better not say nothing to nobody, nothing like that, or it's gonna be very worse. Like, I'm literally gonna get you off the planet. I'm gonna take you off the planet if you don't keep your mouth closed. And so, I'm assuming she's bad. She has bought her silence at this point. Lewis standing outside, and Lewis asked her, was that necessary? She was like, well, it wouldn't have been necessary had you, kept your penis in your pants, had you been taking care of business and, kept her in line like I asked you to do. So yeah, very much necessary. And then she tells him, like, she better not mess up our plan. She better not talk. And, Lewis tries to tell her, like, I got it under control. I got it from here. She shouldn't have no faith in that, because you said that last time, but, I guess it's going to be time for you to show and prove, or your ass is going to end up in the punishment trailer next. Okay. River tells Ruth that he got caught in the kitchen, and Ruth was like, okay, good. What do you want from me? And then he was like, and then she realized, like, this is an opportunity. We could use that as ammo. Like, if Elder Mother tries to sell the highest, we could tell her that she was coming on to River, knowing how the highest feels about River. So, it's a little leverage that she's going to be able to have against Elder Mother, which also tells me the Elder Mother is probably not going to say nothing, because, this information is out there on the streets. And Ruth finally, after all this begging, she agrees to help River get a sandwich or something to Peter, to try to poison him or whatever. And she's going to go to Elder Mother, and she thinks the Elder Mother is going to try to poison her because of something she said to River, and try to make her miscarry, even though she ain't really pregnant. So she's gonna use that to her advantage as well, in this episode. So Ruth goes to the kitchen, claiming that she's hungry and she wants the elder mother to make her something to eat. Surprise, surprise, elder mother has already fixed her something because the heist told her to be nice to her. So she's fixed her a little bologna sandwich or whatever. And they're both being real nice nested to each other, saying, I don't know why we can't get along. I was thinking the same thing. We need to get along. We have a common mission to serve the Raku and to be of service to the highest, blah, 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 blah. And the other mother was like, where were you going? She was like, well, I'm going to take my sandwich back to the highest's trailer so we can split it. We like to eat dinner together, blah, 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 blah. And now elder mother's trying to sing like a little different tune. And then she also gets offended that Ruth would make the assumption that she could possibly be trying to poison her. And Ruth's like, okay, since I'm wrong, you eat the sandwich. And elder mother's like, no, ma'am, I'm not going to be able to do that. But you can have your sandwich, and your Kool-Aid. And I'm going to go ahead and fix him something warm to eat because I know he's going to want a substantial dinner and not this little peanut butter and jelly sandwich that you're eating. So we jump cut to the next scene. A little bit later on, the elder mother is sitting on the front porch in front of the highest's trailer with a hot meal. She's like, listen, he's not going to eat that sandwich. He don't want the sandwich, basically trying to force this hot meal on him so he doesn't eat that tainted sandwich that Ruth has been given. So, her and Ruth are going back and forth. And then in that moment, they show back up. The highest is rolling back in, him, Daikon, and Joan. And elder mother is moving as fast as I've ever seen her move on the show to hand him to present the hot plate to him. And Ruth is like, but I also have this sandwich that I'd like to share with you. And the highest is like, sorry, not sorry, Ruth. I'm going to go ahead and get this hot plate of food here as opposed to that little sandwich you got, but you enjoy. So, elder mother feels like she's kind of won that little battle, but we know that Ruth is going to win the war. So, 1 point for elder mother. We'll let you have that one. Okay. Joan is dying to get away while everybody's sitting there talking. She is dying to ease from under here. I'm assuming, to run off and cover her tracks. But, of course, she has to brief Ruth on what has happened recently. So, Ruth is like, well, what went down? Like, what's going on? And she tells Ruth that they only got $2 million out the bank this time. And then Ruth is like, spill it all. And then she tells Ruth, I know where the children are, which partially right, but not really. She tells her about the hotel and everything that she learned on the trip. What she learned with Daikon being on the phone with the sheriff. Just everything that she heard while she was on this trip, but she still doesn't know the exact location. She like, again, she mentioned everything but about that missing $1 million. So, of course, now I'm assuming she's gonna have to try to backpedal once she gets away from Ruth. So we'll see how she's able to squirm or potentially squirm from under that situation. But now, you can see like a renewed fight that Ruth has now that she knows like the children are probably safe where they are, but she still needs to find them so she can get hers and go on about her business. All right, now Mac, it's eating him up that he doesn't know if Andrew truly said something to him, to the FBI agents. And so he's going to go talk to Andrew and see what he knows. So he goes to Andrew and he asks him about the bodies at Brian's house. How did you get caught up? And Andrew, his husband, like, I ain't have no choice. And he was like, well, why would you tell them that I was involved? And Mac asked Andrew that. And Andrew's like, dude, come on. I did not say nothing about you. I didn't say nothing like that. They playing mind games. And Mac is like, yeah, I knew that. I figured as much. No, you didn't. Because if you did, you wouldn't be asking me questions. Anyway, Andrew says that the highest, he tells Mac that the highest killed Andrew and they killed Brian and his wife. And, basically he has no choice. But then he goes on to tell him, like, listen, if I convince them that I have not been turned rogue, then they're going to, be back on their original mission to go back in there guns a-blazing. And there's a lot of good, innocent people in there, too, including those kids that I don't want to die based on my words. And so he's like, if you could help me convince them that I'm not going rogue and you can help me get out of here, I can get back in there to help y'all take the heist down. And I'm not going to hold you. I kind of felt like I believed him. I kind of felt like that is why he's stalling. However, okay, he did kill Brian. We know that. But it was under duress. Like, it was under the pressure of, like, if you don't kill him, I'm going to kill you type stuff. And so, that kind of brought the realism of, how much, and I don't know how threatened his life was. So maybe Andrew's not sold out. Like I said, maybe he was playing up this ruse to keep the attention on him so that they don't go storming into the compound. So not really sold out, but playing the game for the sake of kind of like he's risking himself in order to save all the innocent lives that he knows are going to be lost if they go running in the front gate like Rambo. So I don't know. I'm back on Team Andrew. That's all I'm saying. Now, I ain't fully invested in the team, but I'm kind of back on Team Andrew because I see where he's going with it. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know, because I feel like Andrew has been out a couple times and kind of went back and then kind of got, drawn in when he was sleeping with Tally. I don't know. I'm back on Team Andrew. Now, next week, I could be back off, but as for this week, I'm rooting for Andrew. All right. Desiree, the female FBI agent lady, is okay. So Desiree, the FBI lady, when Mac turns to walk away, she's somehow snuck into the room and she's standing right behind him. She doesn't say anything to Mac. She just goes straight over to Andrew and she says, listen, I'm assuming she has the confirmation that she need that Mac was involved. She's just not going to, put her cards down on the table. But she goes straight over to Andrew. She was like, well, what happened to Deputy Polk? Because when he was talking to Mac, I think he mentioned something about, what did they do with the deputy? Or something to that effect. I kind of missed that part. But that's what happened to Deputy Polk. If I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me, I think it's Deputy Polk, the one that was sleeping with one of the girls, like they were kind of pawning her off to him so that she can get in and, steal information from the sheriff's office and kind of see what was going on in there. And she ended up killing him by accident or something to that effect. Is that Polk? Because Officer Kate is, the lady that was helping Aaron that ended up getting shot by Mac. So is Polk the other guy? And I guess they don't know where he is because he's also missing. And so they're trying to get that information out of Andrew because he's the one that brought him up. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so Malcolm has somehow convinced... Okay, when Ruth was whipping Bridget in the trailer, Malcolm and Peter could hear him. And this is the thing that kind of... Malcolm, he's the FBI trainer. He knows he can utilize this stuff to his advantage. So he convinced Peter... like, listen, you know what goes down in here. You've stood guard. You know what it smells like, you know what it looks like to see people get whipped. You know what it smells like to smell people's flesh burning in this electric chair. Just appeasing to his sensibilities in it. He's going to be more receptive because he can actively hear this girl getting whooped. And Malcolm is like, that's going to be you next. And, for all your service, that's what you're going to get. And so somehow that has brought Peter's guard down. He's like, listen, if you could truly help me out of here, we could escape. Cool. And so Malcolm has convinced Peter to cut him loose. He's somehow got something sharp on his shoe or whatever, and he's using his foot to cut Malcolm's ankles loose or whatever. And this is where we're at. And he's trying to cut him loose. He's almost done with one more leg or whatever. And River comes walking in, professing his love to Peter and apologizing. He was like, I wasn't ready to go just yet. They're going back and forth. And he offers him the sandwich the elder mother. I'm going to definitely presume that to be the sandwich the elder mother made for Ruth. We know that something's wrong with that sandwich. And so River's going to offer it to Peter. So they're going back and forth. And Malcolm is sitting here looking like, well, what the hell is going on here? And in that moment... River bent down to do something, and Malcolm was able to, get both that last leg free and kicks him in the face, and then he starts attacking River, and now they're just in there fighting. And this is wasted effort because River is also trying to escape, and Peter, and all of y'all got the same goal. Now, of course, y'all don't know that at this particular second, but all y'all got the same goals, so now I don't know what that's going to look like. Now, I saw a picture of what this episode looks like, and it looks like River is inside of the punishment trailer, kind of looking out of the bars. So my guess is going to be that Malcolm gets the upper hand on him and locks him in there. Now, I don't know if Peter's going to go with him. I just feel like Malcolm has double-crossed Peter because this is who Malcolm is as a person. So I feel like Malcolm is maybe going to get the upper hand on River and just lock him and Peter in the punishment trailer while he tries to make yet another grand escape that's going to fail. That's my guess. Either way, that is how the episode ends this week. And you know, again, as I've said before, I have a vested interest in seeing how Joan is gonna undo all that she has done. And I'm interested to see what Malcolm can finally come up with this time. We know he ain't got no damn car in the woods, and the highest is freshly back onto the compound, so we'll see what happens with that. Either way, let me know what you think about the episode. Let's talk about it in the comments. That's for season 4, episode 17. Like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.